This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. When we're at the airport, it seems there are about as many CPAP machines as laptops these days, and we know that sleep apnea is so much more than just snoring and it has a negative effect on our overall health. So today, to help us take a look into sleep apnea, we have Dr. Justin Puckett from Complete Family Medicine here this morning to break it all down for us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So first of all, tell us a little bit more about sleep apnea and what it is.
Well, sleep apnea is a state where, when they're sleeping, that they have a discoordinated breathing. So it can happen in one of two ways. The most common form is called obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, and that occurs whenever we hold our breath. And so at night, the brain is trying to trigger the signal to breathe, and due to a variety of mechanical issues, we just can't breathe through that. The other common cause is called central sleep apnea, and central sleep apnea just means that that part of the brain centrally isn't giving the same signal. But like I said, obstructive sleep apnea is much more common than the central sleep apnea.
All right, and now how would somebody know if they're at risk for OSA or sleep apnea?
Yeah, so men are the most likely to get it more than females. Being overweight has a contributing effect because it provides more pressure on the neck, which works to occlude the breathing. If you're over the age of 40, your risk increases. If you have a large neck, even if you don't have extra weight, but if your neck size is larger than 17 inches for a man or 13 inches for a woman, it drastically increases the risk of having sleep apnea. Having large tonsils fill up the back of your throat, and so there's not as much room to breathe. Same thing with a tongue, or with a large tongue or a small jawbone. And also if you have a family history of sleep apnea, because we're built like our relatives, there's a risk of that passing on through as well. And then if you have heartburn, gastroesophageal reflux, it irritates the back of the throat, and that can cause an increased risk as well.
Now let's go ahead and talk about some of, maybe the effects of sleep apnea.
Yeah, so whenever, just think about things when we don't rest well. Those are the things that can occur that really bother people the most. And so we're tired during the day. We don't feel like we have the mental clarity. But then on top of that, you have all of the other medical conditions. And so it's pretty much, the body is essentially not getting enough oxygen. So every cell's deprived. So we see things all across the board: hypertension, diabetes risk increases, slow metabolism, and weight gain are just a few of the more common things that can present with sleep apnea. But I really want to emphasize today that sleep apnea is not just snoring. It has major medical issues. For example, the hypertension the obstructive sleep apnea is the #1 reason that men get high blood pressure without another known cause, and so it's something that we want to definitely not blow off.
All right, now what should we do if we have been diagnosed or know that we have sleep apnea?
There's a bunch of online screeners that you can do to kind of help you get to that point, and then it's something that you can print off, take into your doctor, and discuss. There's something that we do in the office, a variety of screeners that we document to help the insurance understand where we're coming from, so that we can get approved for a sleep study. And that's the way that we make the official diagnosis, is using a sleep study, and that can be done in a sleep lab. It can also be done for most insurances now at home, and at home it's as simple as wearing a little thing on your finger, wearing a single belt around your waist, and then wearing just like an oxygen nasal cannula in your nose, and going to bed and wearing that for a night or two at home. In the sleep lab, it's a little more invasive. But they also get a lot more information in the sleep lab. So putting stickers on your head to monitor brain activity, even stickers on your eyelids to monitor eye motion, as well as a variety of other diagnostic modalities that help us see kind of what's going on when we sleep.
All right, and then after that's done, are there ways to treat it?
Absolutely. The most common and the most effective way is using that CPAP machine. The CPAP machine provides a continuous amount of pressure, so it's always stimulating that whenever all it takes is the smallest motion and breath is going to occur. It also helps provide pressure so that it keeps those tissues from collapsing and occluding the airway, so it keeps things nice and open. Some people won't do well with that continuous pressure, and they do better with what's called a BiPAP, and that's a machine that gives a little bit of pressure and then a lot of pressure when you take a breath in, so it kind of monitors your breathing. And knowing what pressure you need to be at, we used to have to go back to the sleep lab and do a titration study, and now that can be done with an auto CPAP at home in most cases, and so it's really a pretty straightforward thing. You can be evaluated, diagnosed, and treated pretty quickly.
All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at ktvo.com, and we'll link up Dr. Puckett's information with Complete Family Medicine. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.